Begins with a boy named Haru who isolated himself after being bullied in high school. He spent years in his room, but one day he is unexpectedly reincarnated by a goddess. When the goddess tells him he will be reincarnated into a new world filled with magic and she will grant him superhuman abilities to aid him in his new life, the goddess reincarnates him, and he thinks he will be able to use his overpowered skills to help him live a lazy life. He ends up finding himself reincarnated as a baby, who turns out to be the son of the king. He is born with the royal insignia on his body, and the king wants to test his strength, so he has his advisor do a magical evaluation. Haru's power is examined by the king's crystal ball, which glows as it does so. The king believes he should be at least level 40 because his mother was the hero who defeated the demon king, but it turns out he is only level 2. His advisor also points out that since he has no element, he can only utilize barrier magic. The king is shocked and wonders how they could have had such a useless son. Realizing that it would be an issue if others found out, they both decide to claim that he died while giving birth. The goddess Panic sees this and realizes she messed up because she actually made Haru's power level 1002, but the measuring devices in that world don't go up that high, so they don't realize how strong he is, and she forgot to give him an element. Haru can't believe he is going to die after just being reincarnated. Haru considers how they mentioned he can use barrier magic and chooses to give it a try. He visualizes the process and is able to build a cube. He tries using it on himself and it allows him to float in the air, but at that moment a giant wolf suddenly appears and Haru starts to panic. He is protected by his barrier. He summons a bunch of other barriers and launches them at the wolf, but it doesn't do any damage. He thinks about attacking with something bigger, so he uses his barriers to pick up trees and he uses them to attack the wolf. The wolf is still able to stand, so he decides to go even bigger, and preparing to crush the wolf. However, just as he is about to do so, he hears a voice saying that they have surrendered. The wolf cries out, and Haru realizes that the wolf can talk. The wolf can't believe how strong he is. Haru has trouble speaking. But he comes up with an idea and employs a barrier that transforms his ideas into sound. Haru introduces himself and claims he was left behind because his mana level was too low. The wolf doesn't accept this as true because it perceives his imposing might and believes he is the demon king's reincarnation. The wolf concedes defeat and orders him to kill her, but Haru says it's not necessary as long as she doesn't attack him again. She swears by her name as a flame Fenrir to uphold her end of the bargain. When Haru bids her farewell, she addresses her as Flay, but the wolf interprets this as a name, so she believes they have made a covenant and swears allegiance to him. Flay ignores Haru's explanation that he was simply shortening her name and that he had no intention of making a covenant. When Haru suddenly feels weak and collapses to the ground, it turns out that he needs food because he claims to need milk when playing, which causes Flay to change into a human form. Haru is embarrassed to see her naked, so she wears a suit, but Haru thinks it's just as bad. Flame gets ready to give him milk, but it turns out she doesn't have any. She hears someone approaching and wonders if she should take them out. But Haru advises against it and uses his barrier to make a connection between them so she can hear him telepathically. Flay approaches them and asks him why he is there. The man says he is there for Haru, but Flay refuses to hand him over. The man wonders about their relationship and Flay informs him that Haru is her master. He then reveals that he even brought milk, and Haru tells Flay to accept his offer. The man asserts that his wife was previously pregnant, but the child didn't make it, so he doesn't care that Haru was abandoned for being weak, and he believes that every child should have the chance to have a life. Flay has moved after hearing this, and the man finds it strange to see a demon crying, so they come to a deal and the man decides to take her in as well so she can stay by Haru's side. The man leaves behind evidence that makes it appear as though Haru was slain. After 9 years of living with his new family, he had initially intended to leave after outgrowing milk, but they were so kind to him that he ended up staying. His only issue is that his sister Charlotte doesn't get along with him. Their maid, Flay, who Charlotte seems to like. Tells her that her job is to watch over Haru, but Haru orders her to play, so they go outside and Charlotte chases after her. Haru watches them from inside. And his mother urges him not to let it bother him, claiming Charlotte is still young and still learning how to behave with boys. Haru is concerned that the reason is that Charlotte can see he's almost 30 and thinks he's an old man. His mother advises him to do something special to demonstrate his dependability in the hopes that she will change her mind, and advises him to venture out more as their heir. Haru then retreats to his room and decides to leave before his parents start placing greater demands on him. However, he believes that Charlotte would hate him even more if he took Flay away, and he is aware that Flay would never consent to stay behind. As you can see, he has made a clone version of himself using barrier magic so that he can one day replace himself, but he hasn't been able to make it move or communicate. His father knocks on his door, and they head outside to the yard where he wants to begin teaching him how to use the sword. He doesn't want to learn, but his father insists that since he has such low mana levels, he should work on improving his other talents instead. Haru knows his father is a skilled warrior. He casts his barrier to boost and protect himself and charges at his father, breaking his sword in the process. His father is shocked by the damage he caused and tells Haru to try to avoid his attack. Haru manages to dodge the attack. His father is shocked and says that no one under level 30 should have been able to do so. Haru also finds this strange. The highest level in all of humanity is only level 77, so he wonders what the goddess gave him that is so powerful. Haru's father tells his wife about the sword training session, but he is worried. When he reveals that there are secret records showing that members of the royal family interbred with demons and that certain people were born with demonic traits, his wife is surprised to hear this. Charlotte is shocked to learn that her brother could be a demon, and that's where this episode of the series ends. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see more of it.